Alright, so welcome once again to our React tutorial. So today we will continue from where we stopped yesterday. So yesterday we worked on this part of our website, the hero section 2. This is it here. And so today we'll be doing these feature components. We're doing the features components, and this is exactly how the design will look like. Now, after that, we'll be working on the contact us components. After that, we'll work on our footer, and that will be the end of our home page. Then we'll look at some other things as we proceed. All right, so this design, the feature component, is actually not difficult again. Now, so you know that we'll have a mother div, a div that will house these components. Then inside it, we'll have another div, contents container. Then inside the content container, we'll have a div um, for this text, another div for this text, then another div for this text. The display of the div, this mother div will be flex, right? The display of the content container will also be flex, but in this case, the flex direction will not be row, it will be colon, right? To have this design, right? So a div for this, a div for the feature excuse me, feature contents, right? Inside the feature contents div, we'll have another div, we call it content container, or this div that houses all the features, we'll just call it feature container, right? So inside the feature container div, we'll have feature content. Inside the feature content, we'll have three divs, one div for this, another div for this, then another div for what's it called now, for this three contents, this one here, right? So inside this div we'll have another three divs, one div for this, one div for this, and one div for this. So let's quickly do that. So let's go into our VS Code and do it. So inside my components folder, I've created a folder inside called features, right? Features. And inside the feature, I have features.gss, then style.css. So inside my features.gss, I'll just do JSX, I'll just do SFC. I'll say features. Then I'll do a nameless tag. And at the top here, I'm going to import my style.css. And then after importing my style.css, I'm going to call the components here, right? Features. Right. So let's head back to our features.jsx, and I'm going to say div font. I'm going to have features container, and inside this I'm just going to have, you know what, let me just do it straight, right? Inside features container, right, this features container, I'm going to have just three divs, one div for this, one div for this, and another div for this. So we'll have div main, I'm going to call this main text, main text container, right? And I'm going to put that inside it, put a span inside, and say features. Then under this, I'm going to say another div, say subtext container, excuse me. And then I'm going to put this inside the span. And then I'm going to copy this and put inside. All right. So let me expand this. So after that, I'm going to have another div, and I'll say, what should we call this now? Main feature container, right? Or card container, because these are cards, card container. So I'm going to call this card container. So inside my card container, then I'm going to have the cards. I'll say div class card, right? I'm going to have three cards because it's three card that is there, three card. So inside this first card, right? Now, if you look at the design, we have these are icons basically. We're going to look at how to use icon in our project. I'll have the icon here, then I'll have this text, I'll have this text. They're all going to be inside their separate divs, then learn more. So I have icon. We're going to look at how to use icon, but let's just leave that for now. Let me put inside a div. I'll say div class icon container. Then I'll say div class card main text container, right? Card main text container. Then I'll put a span inside and say easy to use. Then under that, I'm going to have card subtexts container. I'm just going to copy everything and do this, right? Then under that, I'm going to have another div that will say learn more, right? So I'm just going to call this card learn or CTA, card CTA btn container, and then I'm just going to say I'm going to change it to a button. Then I'll say learn more. Capital letter or small letter? Small letter. Learn more. This is capital letter. Learn more. So this card, I'm just going to duplicate it. And to duplicate, just do Control Alt, sorry, Shift Alt. Copy what you want to duplicate, or highlight what you want to duplicate, and hold Shift Alt, the arrow down. I'm going to duplicate it two times. So we have card 1, card 2, card 3. Right? Alright, so we're done with the HTML. Now, if you look at it in the browser, you should have something like this, right? And you see that you have a scroll, a scroll bar, right? So you should have something like this under your features, right? Features start growing, blah, 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 like that. So let's style it. So inside our style.css, just going to close all of this. Sorry. Okay, let me just close everything. Control P, features, and go Control 2, and put your style. All right, so our features container, first of all, we'll say, now don't also forget that if you look at the design, these are aligned towards the center. The text align here is center, right? Now, first thing is to say display is going to be flex. Then the flex, let me give you a background color so you see. Background color, I'm just going to use pink, right? So you should have something like this now. Because we have changed the display to flex, now why are we having this effect? Now, inside your features container, you have three contents, right? Let me space it so you see. Right? Inside features container, you have three contents: main text, subtext, and card container, right? Now, by default, the feature container is block. The display is block, right? Now, if you change the display to flex, now it will horizontally align all these what's it called now? All these contents. That means the contents will be side by side. They will stay on a row, and that's what you have here. You have features, get started, right? And then you have this. In other words, you have this, and this on a single row, right? Why are we having this? Is because this content is inside the card container, right? So, but we want to make it vertically aligned, right? Under features, we have this, under this, we have this. So the way to do that is, by now you should know, you change the flex direction to what? Colon. And then you have this back, right? Now, second thing we want to do is to give it a little bit of padding. So we'll say padding, and now that padding, let's just use 30 pixels, top bottom, 100 pixels, left, right. And then you should have something like this. You have something like, can you see that it's aligning with this, right? Now, so the next thing we want to do now, let's remove this button, this scroll bar, side scroll bar, right? Now, to do that, just go back to your global CSS where we have our body. Just say overflow X hidden, hidden. Now there are three overflows. There's overflow in the Y direction. Now Y is vertical, right? Now X is horizontal. Now, so we're saying anything that comes out of the screen, right? Because we say our screen should be 100 VH, our height should be what? 100 VH. So any content that comes out of the screen, let us hide it, right? So once you do overflow X, that scroll bar has gone, right? You won't be able to scroll, so it has gone. Now, so the next thing we want to do is to style this content as we have it, right? Now, if you notice, everything is centered aligned. So it therefore means that we can just say in our style of CSS here, we can say text align. Now, let's do something. If we do justify contents center, now look at what happens. Nothing happened. You know why? Because inside this feature container, we have three contents, right? Now, if we say justify content center, actually, it's already justified to the center. So you won't see anything. So the way to do that is to say, to center everything, to say text align, all the text inside the container, let's center it. And you should have something like this. All right, so let's now begin to style the contents. So inside my main features container, I'm going to do this main text container. I'm going to style the span inside it. Right? And I'm going to have font size. I'm going to use 3VW, right? And I'm going to change the font weight to 650. All right, I have something like this. Okay, I think the font weight is fine, but the text is too big. I'm going to do 2.5 VW. Right, that's enough. That's enough. Then what else? That's fine. Then I'll see subtext container, and I'll start the span inside it. I'll say font size. I'm going to use 1.3 VW, and I'll change the color to faded. Right, so you should have something like this. But if you look at the design, you see that the line breaks here and then here. So let's just break the line. And then I'll say all in one. After all in one, a BR, right? And then after D, I have boring stuff. So you should have something like this. So let's push it down and reduce the text. Let's reduce the text to like 1 VW, and then let's push it down. Margin top. Okay. Before we push it down, we can just give it gap. I'll say gap 30 pixels. All right, so we have more gap, but that gap is too much. 20. Okay. Okay, let's use 10. And let's increase the text a little bit. Let's use 1.2. All right, it's fine. It's fine. All right, so I'm going to remove the background color. It's ash 555. All right, this is good. So though the color they are using here is different from the ash 555, I think it should be ash F3, F3, F3. No, F8, F8, F8. No, F8 is too much. Okay, you know what? Let's just stay with ash 555. Let's stay with ash 555. All right, another thing is let's look at our design well. Let's push this down a little bit. Okay, let's push this down a little bit. Let's give it a gap of 15. Okay, say 16. All right, it's fine. Let me increase that features to like 3. Let me use 3 VW. All right, it's better like this. So the next thing is we want to style this part. So to style that part, we're also going to follow the same procedure and say our card container, change the display to flex, and the flex direction will automatically be row. Then we're going to give it a little bit of gap. Let's say 10 pixels, and then you should have some space in between it. Now, so the next thing I want to do is to say, no, I'm not just going to, before gap, let me just do justify content, space between, right? Good, that's what should happen. So you see that there's a little bit of, there's space between the three of them. Now, let me style the card itself. So inside card container, I'll say dot card, and then I'm just going to give it background color. Now the background color I'm going to give it to be ash F1, 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 right? Something like this. So this is what you have. But let's look at our design, right? The space is not that much, but let's continue what we're doing first, right? Then the next thing I want to do is to give it width to close up that space. Let's do 100%. Okay, let's do 90. Okay, let's do 80. All right. So what I did was that I gave it, let me make this with 100, and then I give it a little bit of gap, right? To have this space. The first thing is just why content space between. Let's see. There's really no effect. Remove just why content space between. There's really no effect. So just play around it. Any which way it works for you is fine. But we can remove the space between, and then just give it width of 100%, and then give it gap of 30. You should have that this effect. So inside the card, I'm also going to give it a little bit of padding and say, let me just make the padding 30 pixels. Let me see what we have. All right, so we have something like this. So let's push it down. Let's push the card container down. So imagine top 5% or 4%. Right, let's just do 3%, and then you should have this effect by design and this. Then the next thing I want to do is, now you know what? Look at something. Okay, I see that this and this they align, and that's what we have here. This and this they align, and I think that's why we put our width. Hmm. This is interesting. Wow, even the width is not working for it because I have padding. Return the padding. Please put your width back so that even if you remove the padding, it will still be 100%. So put the padding back. You should have this. Now, so let's start what is inside. What is inside the card? Now, for the icon, I'm going to be using something called React Icons. Right. Let me just search. So this is it here. React Icons. Coming. Still loading. All right, so this is real icon. So you can basically search for anything. We want love icon, star icon, and I think key icon. So here you can search for love. It's still loading here. Just search for love here. Let it load finish. All right, wait, before we even search for love, let me just walk you through how to use this. Now, look at this installation. So the first thing I need to do is to run npm install react icon / save. So you copy this and head to your VS Code and open a new terminal. Don't close the terminal here, just open a new one. And to open a new one, let me delete it. Just do Control Shift, then what's the name of this one now? Where you have oh, you know what? Just click on this place here. This place here. You see toggle C panel. Oh no, not that place. What am I saying, Seth? This come in. This place, this plus. Just click on it to open a new terminal for you. Then just paste what you copied here and press enter. So it should install React icon in your project. So while that is installing, let's go back to our browser. All right, so if I want to use any icon, say FA beer, right? I have to a beer icon. This is a beer icon, right? So I have to first of all import it at the top of my project, and then use it as a component here. Do you get? So this FAB here is a component in this React icons that we're installing. So we're just using the components in this React icon. You know, I said something in the first video about, was it the first or second video about using someone else's component? So we're going to be using components from React icon. So let's search for our love. Okay, let's say hats. Okay, I do now. Don't know why it's slow. Not coming. Sincerely, I don't know why this React icon is not working. But another icon we can use is Lucid React. Let's type Lucid React icons. Let's click on it. So I don't know what's wrong with React icons. I don't know. Maybe they are tired. No, they have decided to work. Zero red. Tough. So this is one of the hats. So if I click on it, you see to bring it out well. So you can just copy this here, right? And paste it at the top of our page. Now the React icon is done installing. So we can just paste it after our imports.css. Paste it here. Then we also need, what else now? We need star, right? So just start for star, not star. So this is one here. Let's see the one that really fits it. Okay, it's a little bit thick. So I'm just going to use, okay, let's use this one. Let's use this one. So copy it there and paste it at the top here. Then what else do we need? We need key. Key. Hmm. Okay, with protection. We need protection. Well, let's see. Let's see if Lucid React will have. It has, but not exactly. It's something like this. Okay, shield. Let me search for shield. I think we're just going to improvise and use another. But let's see. I think we should be able to even download this thing from here. No, we can't. We can't. So let me see whether this will not come out. Okay. Protect. Okay. Shield. Shield. It has shield, but there's no key at the center. There's no door knob. Shield knob and shield key. Shield, blah blah blah. Hmm. Key. Okay. Oh, I think I see. I saw it now. Where are you? A shoot plus. You have key now. Ah, so this is moon here. This is a climate. Okay, this is it here. Shoot lock. Ah, can you imagine? So shoot lock. All right. So how do we now use this in our projects? Here, inside the icon container, we're just going to import. We'll call it as a component, right? So this FA inside the icon container, close it. Can you see how to use components inside components? All right. So if you check it, can you see we have our love here, star here, and our shield here. Now, so the next thing I want to do inside this card, I'm going to change the display itself. I'm going to change the display to flex, and I'll say uh, I'll say flex direction colon, and I'll give it a little bit of gap. I'll say 30 pixels, and then that gap is there. All right, and that's it. Then inside the gap, I'll say icon container. I'm just going to increase the font size of the icon. I'll use like 1 VW, right? Okay, let me use like 5. Okay, let me see my design again. Okay, about that product. Okay, let me use 4. Let me use 3. 3 is better. 3 is better. 3 is better. But if you look at the top, there is more space on top than. So let's see. Let's play around it. Let's say just align items, center. So we have to give it more padding top, right? So we're just going to say 40 pixels top bottom. Let me say 100. All right, so that's it. So we now have more space at the top. Let me increase the size of this thing to like 3.5. All right, 3.5. 3.5. Let me reduce the gap. It's too much. 20. All right, this is better. So the second one, main card container. I'm going to increase the font weight to say 600, and I'm going to increase the font size to say 1.3 VW. Okay, let me do 2. Oh, sorry. You can do it this way too anyway, but I'm going to style the span inside it, right? So this is supposed to be font size, but it's too much. I'm just going to use 1. I'm going to use 1.5. Okay, let me use 1.2. Better. Let me increase the font weight to 650. Alright, good. So this one is variety of design. I'm going to put it here. What did I do? What have I done? I deleted something. Then the third one is fill our design, right? Fill our design. Okay, so let's see it. Okay, so let's increase this part. Let's increase it, the text. So I'll say card subtext container. That's card subtext container and the span inside it. You can choose not to put inside the span, or it's up to you. Use 1W and then it is good. It is good. It is good. Okay, let me use 1.2. 1.2 is too much. 1.1. 1.1 is just fine. Though the text are a little bit smaller. Let me see. Build, right? So let me put BR here. Put BR here. Copy this one. I'm going to paste it here. Let's say cut. Just going to do another BR here. And then this, I'm going to put a BR here. Don't worry, we'll revisit this design. But, but basically, I'm just following what my eyes can see. Workflow. So after the, put another BR. So we should have something like this. Exactly the design. So let's style our button. So it's supposed to be learn more. So I say card CTA container. And say margin top to move it down a little bit. 3%, and then I'll style the button inside it. Now say background color. I'll say transparent. And then I'll say color is just going to be the color we have been using. Let me copy it from another area section to this color. Alright. Yep. So let's remove the border. Say border on set. Also, let's increase the font width to say 500. Okay, let's use 600. Okay, let's increase the font size to 1.1 VW. Right. Let's increase the font width to 650. 1.1. So, pardon. Then the next thing we want to do is to change the colors of our icon. Now look at this. This is thick. This is thick. This is kind of thin. So let's change it. Let's make everything uniform. So I'm just going to start for heart again. I look for a thick one. This one is thick. Right? Just going to copy it. Instead of this CI, I'm going to paste it here. And then copy this one. Change it here. And then everything is now uniform. So let's change the color of each of the icons. Now to do that, you have to manually give them classes, right? So I'll just give class name here. I'll say red. I'll give this one another class name. I'll color this one safe. It's like orange. Usually in the design, they should provide the color for you. Then I'm going to give this one another class name and say green. Green. So here I'll say the red. I'll say color will be red. Right, the color is now red. Though in our design they're actually using a thin this thing, but it's fine, you get the gist. So color is red. And this one, we'll say orange. That's orange. Color is orange. Right? Orange. Though it's not really orange like that. I mean, it's kind of dark orange. Or what color is this now? I don't know. Find out. Let me see if I can get it. Something like this. Something like this. Then this one will be green. That's green. Color green. Light green. Okay. So we are done with the features part. One page, features. So I expect you to do this and we'll see tomorrow in another class. If you have any question, please let me know. So just play around this, right? You could also do it your own style. Just ensure that you you know get it done. All right. Do have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.